161,000 euros. That's how much a dinner in Abu Dhabi can cost, and not only that, as absurd as it may sound. It is not, however, the bill paid by the drivers in the evening preceding the GP at Yas Marina, organized to get all together and say goodbye to Sebastian Vettel at his last race in Formula One. It all started on social media, from a receipt posted of over 161,000 euros, the alleged bill for the driver's dinner. The bill itself is real, but it is part of another much-discussed episode relating to the dinner at the famous Nusri Tea of Restaurateur Salt Bay, based on steaks glazed with gold leaf. None of this affected the driver's dinner, which was, moreover, organized at another restaurant. According to Alex Albon, it was paid for by British driver Lewis Hamilton. In fact, this time it is the Williams driver who is speaking, who relives in front of the press microphones the most memorable moments of the evening spent together. The British-born driver began as follows. "We are very close friends. Obviously, when you see us racing on the track, the friendship is a bit less. But when we are out, we always find a way to organize ourselves and spend time together. We do 23, 24 races together, so we spend a lot of time. I spend more time with my teammate than with my girlfriend. Let's say that with all these years you build a friendship. There are some riders I have been competing against since I was 8 or 9 years old. I have already spent a lot of time with them. It's like they have created a family atmosphere, and that is nice." The new generation of drivers that is increasingly occupying the grid is a generation with new ways of relating to each other, having grown up largely on the same kart tracks. This has fostered human relationships that have remained intact and have now become beautiful friendships, especially for those drivers born in the second half of the 1990s. Among them was Alexander Albon, the Anglo-Thai who was a close friend of Lando Norris and George Russell, among others. The Anglo-Thai from Williams emphasized that the good relations are not only with those youngsters who grew up with him since karting but also with the older generation, who have been very welcoming to the younger drivers. "There are a lot of drivers that I spent a lot of time with as a kid in the preparatory categories, but I have to say that even those who have been in F1 longer like Hamilton, Bottas, Ricciardo, and the others are all super nice guys. They've made us welcome and everyone feels like family." Afterward, Albon continued the interview by telling about the dinner offered by Lewis Hamilton and the last moments spent with Vettel. "It was special. Really, I have no words. I had a great time. I think it was the same for all the drivers that night. My cheeks hurt from laughing so much. We laughed and joked the whole time." Afterwards, the Williams driver talked about all the background that preceded the dinner, such as the organization and the menus. "What a load of rubbish! We are normal people, we don't expect caviar or gold cutlery. There was a set menu because some people follow a diet and Lewis, for example, is vegan. He paid the bill and organized everything. That was very nice of him." Abu Dhabi was the first time the drivers had enjoyed such a meeting since the 2016 Chinese GP. "I thought it was really important," said Hamilton. "That's why I asked the group in Mexico if they would be open to all doing dinner to say goodbye to Seb. We hadn't had a dinner for years in China. And it was the best evening, we all had a good laugh." Great stories! Seb is a great leader as well. He made a great speech, really trying to pass on some of these experiences he's had over the years, especially to the younger guys, because they are the future. And yeah, we had that photo, and it was the most harmony I think any group of drivers has ever had, I would imagine. Maybe not in history, because there are some pictures of others in the past, many years ago, but definitely in these 15 years. Asked by Motorsport.com if the dinner will now become a regular event, he said, "I mean, after that we said, let's do it every time. Maybe we'll make it an annual thing. Maybe we'll add another one in the year. But there are also a lot of things we can do as GPDA, as a united group. We have, I think, a responsibility. We have a great platform, each and every one of us, collectively. And it's encouraging. Collectively, there are a lot of things that F1 needs to drive action. We're doing a lot of things on sustainability and stuff, but we really need to make sure that we're pushing through and doing the best. And maybe the GPDA can play a role in that." Hamilton's teammate and GPDA director George Russell agreed it had been a positive night. I think we had a lot of fun on Thursday night, said Russell. A lot more fun than we probably all would have expected. And we told ourselves we need to do it more often. I think it's such an intense season that we all endure in this paddock. And we're all so competitive, but sometimes you need to get back to doing something normal, like going to dinner together. And not even talk about racing and just have a bit of fun. Daniel Ricciardo agreed that chatting about topics other than F1 made the evening special. Obviously, we had a good excuse to do it for Seb, a bit of a goodbye for him, said the Australian. But you forget that when we get together in a room, away from the racing, it's a really nice atmosphere. We all obviously have a lot in common. Probably more than we thought, actually. So it was great to enjoy each other's company and not talk about racing or competition. I felt like we were all learning a bit more about each other off the track. We had a lot of laughs with everyone, said world champion Max Verstappen. Of course, we have a WhatsApp chat group. At some point we said let's do it in Abu Dhabi on Thursday night. Everybody has a little bit more time then. Everybody had a lot of fun with each other. We had a good time. Of course, not everybody got there on time, so you sit somewhere and then somebody comes and sits next to you. That's how you sit for a while. When everyone is having a good time, they start going around the table and get up. Asked who paid, Verstappen said, I don't know how, but somehow Lewis had already paid. That's good on his part, he's also the one who's earned the most money so far. This dinner bears witness to the fact that although there are spectacular battles on the track, today's Formula One drivers have created a group that unites the most experienced and promising young drivers into one big family. This is something that has never been seen in Formula One, a sport full of spectacle and historic battles to reach the top of the world. Another proof of how well the drivers get along with each other was seen on a well-known streaming channel, where Leclerc, Albon, Russell, and Norris competed in the Formula One video game. Well, although it didn't cost €160,000, the dinner was a historic moment for Formula One. After almost 8 years, all the drivers found themselves celebrating a season full of excitement and spectacle over dinner. Let's hope that this can only be the beginning and that next year will bring new exciting battles.